The Rip City Drive.
Hey, what's going on, Chad? Dwight, my bad. It's just a little noisy. I just landed in LAX, so I'm walking to my limo service right now.
You're walking to your limo service?
You don't want to lose.
You like how I put that in there, huh?
You can't. Wait a minute. They didn't have anybody waiting there to carry your bag for you? What is this?
I got to get to them. I'll probably make it to them at 4 o'clock. I mean, about 4 minutes, and then they'll have a sign. That says Haynes, and then I'll give them my luggage, and they'll take it the rest of the way.
God, I knew you win, too.
That's big time. Well, first off, Chris, thanks for your time. How was your All-Star break?
It was cool. It was better than I expected. You know, Salt Lake, it was everything was near each other. If that makes any sense. So All-Star weekend, for a lot of people that don't know, like, there's a lot of events going on, so you try to make it to as many as you can, but, you know, it's really convenient that everything is pretty much close. And that's most of the time that's not the case when you have them in major cities. So it was cool. The weather was good, but you guys know in Salt Lake City, Utah, everything closes on Sunday. It was a ghost town that day. Aside from that, it was a pretty cool weekend.
Good. Chris, what do you think the Blazers ought to do? There's 24 games left for them. It doesn't look good for them to even make a play-in. Is it time to start sitting out people like Dame and maybe trying to improve that draft position a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know that it's time right now. I think they'll probably look at the next, I don't know, seven to 8 games along that range, and then decide what they do moving forward. As far as I've been told, there is no plans, I should say, to pull the plug right now, you know, going into the second half of the season. But I would think things will have to trend in a different direction if in the next 7 to 8 games this team is not holding up its own. And as I say that, Godfather, I just walked outside and there's a brother holding a sign that says Christopher B. Haynes. And that would be me. How you doing, brother? Yeah, it's just one bag. Yeah, that's it. Let's go. Okay, so
Going to the Marriott, right?
Going to the Marriott, yes, sir. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
No. We're just listening in on your life, trying to imagine what it's like. That's all we're doing. Golly, Chris.
You've been there, Godfather. You've been there, Godfather. Come on. No,
I've never been where you are. No thanks on that. Never been there. No, I just wanted to know if you had an intern. Could I intern for you? Golly.
Yeah, you know what, Godfather? But, so that's what we're talking about. Yeah, so I think they're going to go look at the next, 7 to 8 games and then see how things fare and then go from there. Because one thing, Godfather, look, yes, they didn't make drastic improvements at the trade deadline, but, the Western Conference is so condensed. I'm talking about the standings. So,
yeah.
You can make a pretty good leap if you string away a 3-4 game winning streak. And so I think that's what they want to see what plays out these first 7 to 8 games.
All right, we asked you about this before, and I want to know if anything's changed because I'm hearing things. Jeremy Grant, they brought him in, and he's going to be a free agent. Do you think that they've got a deal with him to make sure he re-signs here? Or do you think now he's with Clutch Sports, do you think now he might go out and look for something else?
I don't know. It's tough when you're talking about Rich Paul and them. They don't have a deal as of right now. I can tell you that for sure.
Okay.
Whether or not he looks at the market, I still think Portland has the best chance of anybody to get him back for next season. So, with that being said, you never know when you talk about Clutch. They're an aggressive group, and they tend to go where the money is at or where the best situation is, playing wise. And Portland definitely could offer him the most, and so Portland has that angle. But you just never know with them. But if you're asking me as of right now, what do I think will happen going into next season? I would think Jerry will be a Portland Trailblazer next season.
We're talking with Chris Haynes, TNT and Bleacher Report here on the Rip City Drive. You did a good job of reporting through that situation at the deadline with GP2. How do you think that investigation will play out, and what's going to be the end result between the Blazers and the Warriors with the Gary Payton II trade?
Yeah, first the NBA has to take on the investigation. As of right now, the last thing I was told is that they're reviewing the complaint. And then from there, they'll review it and then see if there's enough evidence that will warrant of going on a full-out investigation. So I don't know. I think, because this thing was so messy, I think just a moment. Can you turn the music down, please? I think with the come on, guys, I'm trying to talk here. So I would think with the situation being so messy, and with the Warriors, as I was told and reported, they want the league to also look into the Trailblazers dealing with the New Orleans Pelicans from last year. I would think they would probably investigate just to kind of appease both sides and see what comes about. I don't know what's going to come about, but this was a messy situation. I think the league would at least go into an investigation to see what they can find.
Okay, let me ask you this. Russell Westbrook to the Clippers. How do you think that's going to work out for Russ and for the Clippers?
I have no clue. I have no clue. I really don't. I'm happy. I would say this. I'm happy for Russ. He stays home. I know he did not want to leave L.A. And it's the storylines of the NBA. What if the Clippers meet up in the playoffs, and that'd be a hell of a storyline to cover. But I don't know. I really don't know. The Clippers they haven't lived up to expectations this season. They're still working Kawhi into the fold and trying to get him back to playing full time. And, I don't know. When you look at that roster, the way it's constructed, you would think they would want a point guard who can spread the floor with those other guys. And that's not Russ. But at the same time, I think with the roster they have now, Russ is definitely an upgrade at that point guard position. So with all that being said, I don't know. But I'm definitely intrigued with covering this team and seeing how they're going to play from here on out.
Hey, Chris, with the movement of Kevin Durant going to Phoenix, who do you think the best team in the West is now?
Phoenix. I think it's Phoenix. And I know a lot of times when these super teams, I don't know if you call this a super team. Chris Paul is, I don't know. A lot of people don't consider Chris Paul to be a superstar anymore, but still a hell of a player. Probably still the best traditional point guard we have in the league. But I think why I think they're going to be the favorites, or their favorites in my eyes, is that they have smart players. These are really smart players who happen to be very talented. And I like the roster that they're assembling around him. I don't expect the Suns to be done in the buyout market. I really think they're the team to beat. I really think it shifts now to Phoenix. This is a team that just a few years ago were in the NBA Finals, and if it wasn't for a few injuries, they might feel like they would have won the thing. And now you add Kevin Durant into the equation. I definitely think they're the favorites. I really think the only thing that's going to stop them is an injury, a catastrophic injury. And I'm hoping that no team has to suffer anything like that, because I want to see everybody at their best playing basketball. But I really think they're talented and they're too smart not to be able to pull this thing together.
How about, Chris, how about this? You saw the ratings for the All-Star game, and you saw the game. League's trying to figure out how to fix it. I think we're all trying to figure out how to fix it. Roll that window up, by the way. Hey, what do you think? How can they fix that game, or is it even worth trying?
How can they fix it? I mean, they're doing a lot already. I mean, the All-Star game is not even Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference anymore. I have a problem with that.
Me too.
It's like you're picking 12 from each conference, but then you're mixing them all up. And then, like this year, they did the player draft. What was it? The day before the All-Star game, and so it was like the players couldn't even really practice with their teams. It's just awkward. And then, like once the fans don't. The fans are not familiar with who's on what team. You know, when you got the Eastern and Western Conference, they know, okay, it's going to be Dame versus Kyrie over there. Like, it's so mixed up. And then with the draft being the day before, you give the fans very little time to get acclimated to who's on what. And so it's just tough, man. I mean, I thought the Elam rule, you know, that was pretty good a few years ago when it first started, you know, to kind of try to enhance guys to play a little harder, and you put money into for charity. It worked like the first year, maybe the first 2 years, and now we're kind of back where we're back from ground zero now, where like they don't give a damn. So I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't. I want to say that, you know, I'll hope that players eventually will look in. I'm about to go into a tunnel, guys. If my phone cuts out, that's the reason, but we'll see. I'll keep talking. I hope that players will, like, just think about what they're doing. Think about the level, the level that they're playing at, and think about the players that came before them. I saw on social media where somebody was playing they played a snippet of an All-Star game back in the 90s, and they were playing. Like, you couldn't tell it was an All-Star game. It was Michael Jordan. I think it might have been Kobe's first game. I can't remember, but they were playing hard, man. And you know, the same risk, you know, there was the same risk then and the same risks are now. So I will hope that they really take this seriously. And, you know, with the new CBA coming up, man, like, the players need to get their act together, because these owners aren't going to be playing in this next CBA with these guaranteed deals and players requesting trades a year into the deal and forcing their way and sitting out games. You know, that, like, the owners they're going to, you know, I don't know how the players are going to be able to win in this next CBA. So they need to get their act together and try to, you know, act like professionals and be professionals.
Chris, one last question quickly. Blazers are going to be without Anthony Simons for a while. Who's going to start in that spot, do you think?
I don't know yet. I haven't any calls yet, but I would think in that spot. So they got, hold on, let me go through the lineup. So you got Dame, then they starting, who they've been starting at 3? They've been starting Matisse, probably Matisse, right?
Yeah.
Matisse, okay, Matisse, and then Jeremy, and then what's the latest up? Is Nurk back?
Not playing yet. No.
Not playing yet. So Eubanks, I would think it will be between Cam Reddish and Shaden Sharp. I don't know if they want to start Shaden Sharp right now. So, yeah, I know they've been starting Cam. So my gut will say probably start Cam and keep bringing Shaden off the bench.
Chris Haynes, TNT and Bleacher Report. Hey, thank you for grinding through the airport and coming on the show, buddy. We appreciate it.
Anytime, y'all. Y'all take care.